Good morning and welcome to CytoMed Therapeutics Limited first earnings call. My name is JL and I will be facilitating today's presentation. Today we are joined by CytoMed's Chairman and Managing Director, Peter Chu, CytoMed's Chief Financial Officer, Go Yvonne, and CytoMed's Chief Operating Officer and Director, Dr. Tan Wee Kiat. Peter, Yvonne, and Dr. Tan, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you all of the attendees who are on the line. CytoMed Therapeutics is a Singapore biopharmaceutical company focused on harnessing its licensed proprietary technologies to create novel cell-based immunotherapies for the treatment of human cancers. The development of novel technologies has been inspired by the clinical success of existing CAR T therapies in treating hematological malignancies, as well as current clinical limitations and commercial challenges in extrapolating CAR T principle into treatment of solid tumors. In this session today, Peter, Yvonne, and Dr. Tan are going to discuss the company's first half of 2023 financial result and to update the company's three platform technologies progress and development, and they will also provide an update on the upcoming milestones of 2023 and beyond. We will have Q&A at the end of the session. If you would like to ask a question, click on the Q&A tab on the bottom right side of the webcast page and simply type in your question. We would like the session to be interactive, so please type your question anytime during the session, and we will answer them at the end of this session. I will now hand the call over to Chairman Peter Chu.
Thank you, JL. Good morning, everyone, and good evening for our Asian friends and investors. My name is Peter Chu, and I'm the Chairman of CytoMed Therapeutics, which listed in April this year, and this is our first earnings call conference. So if there's anything not perfect, please forgive us. The agenda is as follows. We will run through the performance, financial performance for the first half, and then we'll jump to the pipeline progress, what have we done so far on the pipeline, and then we'll touch on the future. So we are a Singapore-based cancer biotech focused on allogeneic, off-the-shelf approaches for various types of cancer, both liquid and solid. We have started our first in-human phase 1 trial in Singapore and started recruiting healthy donors. This is simply because of our allogeneic therapy approach. Such allogeneic donor blood medicines are the best way to bring down costs of cell therapies, which are now prohibitively expensive for the public, as well as hugely reducing preparation times for patients because you don't have to take the patient's own blood. As stated during our IPO, we want to make affordable cell therapies. That's always been our mission. Now, we benefit significantly from Southeast Asia's low-cost infrastructure, meaning we can manufacture cells much cheaper using our own GMP lab also, which we own and operate ourselves. Such cost structure helps us to keep our loss at very manageable levels. So for the first half this year, January to June 2023, right, for 6 months, our net loss amounted to about $850,000 approximately, excluding the IPO expenses, which cost us more than $2 million. We had raised net proceeds of about $8 million in our April IPO. Right? Because of our low-cost infrastructure, this should provide runway for at least the next 2 years. Of course, if we identify new opportunities that is not envisaged in our prospectus, we might have to seek capital. Right? But as it is now, we have runway for at least 2 years. Well, looking ahead, our work is very clear. We want to become a clinical stage biotech, meaning we have first patient treated, right? And we think this will be in the coming early half of next year. Right? We will be focusing on our approved phase 1 clinical trial in Singapore, right? The first in human trial for various cancer types using our allogeneic approach. We'll also be focusing on growing top-line income via strategic partnerships, collaborations, alliances, as well as meeting growing demand for our research products in the region, So I would like to now hand over to our Chief Financial Officer, Yvonne, to describe the financial performance. Yvonne?
Thank you, Peter. Good morning and good evening, everyone. Before kicking off my presentation, please note that we will be making forward-looking statements today, which may differ materially from actual results. Please review our legal disclaimer included in all our presentations carefully. I will now give a broad overview of our first half 2023 financial performance. We reported a net loss of 2.2 million, approximately $1.6 million in first half of 2023. Excluding the non-recurring IPO expenses and the loss and the cost associated with being a public listed company, the net loss will be significantly reduced to 1.2 million, approximately $861,000. Other operating income increased by 56.2% to 234,000. Loss per share was 22 cents in first half 2023. For our cash position, we had cash and cash equivalent of 10.4 million as at June 30th, 2023. We have raised about 12.9 million gross proceeds from our IPO in April this year. Net tangible assets stood at 13.2 million. We move on to the next slide. The table shows the summary of first half 2023 financial performance. Other operating income was 234,000 in first half 2023, up by 56.2% from the previous corresponding period, mainly due to an increase in research income of 210,000, which was partially offset by the decrease in government grant of 153,000. Research expenses was 604,000 in 2022, compared to 811,000 in first half 2023. The increase of 207,000 was mainly attributable to three reasons. First, an increase of consumable used for research, quality control, preclinical activity. Second, higher employee benefit expenses resulting from increase in headcount and employee salary rate. The third one will be higher service fee incurred for animal study and the Angelica clinical trial with NUH Singapore. For our G&A expenses, it increased by 1.2 million from 306,000 in first half 2022 to 1.5 million in first half 2023. This was mainly due to an increase of IPO expenses, increase of costs associated with being a public listed company, and also higher staff costs. As a result of the foregoing, we had net loss of 2.2 million in first half 2023. If the non-recurring IPO professional expenses and the costs associated with being a public listed company are excluded, the net loss stood at 1.2 million, approximately to $861,000. We expect our expenses to increase in connection with our ongoing activity, particularly as we conduct the Angelica clinical trial and advance the preclinical activity of our product candidates. Over to you, Wicked, our COO.
Right, thank you, Yvonne. I will be going through CytoMed's progress in this year. And on the chart, progress made this year will be highlighted in pink for easy reference in the next slide. But before going to that, I would like to highlight the key progresses. So starting from, we have started the first donor in recruitment in July 2023. For the two patents that we have patents that are granted in USA and China. And continuing on, we will be focusing on continuing the expansion of clinical capacity and businesses. Now, let us dive into each of our projects. In the next slide, you will be able to see project 1. So zooming in for our pipeline CTM N2D, this is for the Angelica trial. You can see that the progress made this year are highlighted in pink for easy reference. We have obtained full approval for our first in human phase 1 trial earlier this year. And as mentioned, we have kick-started the trial with donor recruitment in July. So in the next slide, you will be able to see Project 2. For Project 2, we are building the cell bank and stock needed to enter preclinical studies, and we are on track for preclinical studies for 2024. These banks that we are building will potentially be upgraded to GMP cell banks in the future that could be used for clinical trials as well. Next slide, please. For project number 3, DTM GDT, we have entered into a research collaboration agreement with MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas, for preclinical studies targeting lymphoma and breast cancer. After we have obtained the readout, we will consider putting in a US FDA IND application for this project. Similarly, there has been other interest in the gamma delta T platform, and we are exploring it in the US as well as other regions in Asia. Next slide, please. So for 2023 and beyond, we will be looking to grow top line and continue expanding our operations. Using this opportunity, I would like to showcase our facility that we own and operate. It is an international standard PICS GMP facility in Malaysia. Operating our own facility in a low-cost environment enable us to be very cost efficient and ensuring high quality of products at the same time with good command of speed of production. Our facility has been audited by Ministry of Health Malaysia and has a suite of capacity, including manufacturing, quality control, testing, cryopreservation, storage, and development capabilities. In the next slide, we'll be able to showcase the facility in operation. And you can see these are photos of how the facility looks like in the interior, with operators in personal protective equipment to ensure products are produced at high quality. So with that, we have come to the end of the presentation. We thank everyone for your attention, and we are happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Again, if you would like to ask a question, click on the Q&A tab available at the bottom right side of your webcast page and simply type in your question. Just one moment, please, while we compile the questions.
Right, okay, I think we are starting to see questions that are streaming in. Then I would get the ball rolling and take on the first question. The first question is, when will the company become clinical? So the trial has started, and because this is an allogeneic approach, the trial is being kicked off with recruiting healthy donors as the first stage. And we would be looking at recruiting patients in early first half of next year, and that is when we become a clinical stage biotech company.
I'd like to, Peter here, I'd like to add that actually we have already started the trial because of our unique allogeneic off-the-shelf approach. Right? We have to first start recruiting the donor, the healthy donor. Right? From there, we manufacture the cells. So we hope to look, the first patient, we hope to do it next year. So right now we started by collecting healthy donor blood, and it's more than one donor required by our investigator.
Right. Thank you, Peter. So maybe I'll read out the next question. The next question is, what are your plans for 2024? So for 2024, we would be looking to grow our top line and to continue expansion of our clinical operations as well as our business. We would also be focusing on pushing ahead for the Angelica trial that is in Singapore, as well as to explore growth in our pipeline through strategic collaborations and partnership in US and in Asia as well.
I'd like to add that we are already, in the midst of discussion.
So another question that has came up is, what is CytoMed's current cash position, and how long is your cash runway? How should we think about the cash burn rate shown for first half 2023 going forward? So for our cash position, our current cash position is $7.2 million, as we have just raised. We have just done the IPO in April earlier this year. Our cash runway, as it stands, is about 2 years. Now, in terms of the cash burn show for first half 2023 going forward, there would be some increase in the cash burn as we start the patient recruitment of the Angelica trial. Having said that, we would still believe that our cash runway will stay in the 2 years for our cash runway.
As there are no further questions, I will now turn the call over to the team for closing remarks.
Well, this is Peter. Our Chief Operating Officer, VCAT, Dr. Tan, will be in New York on the 7th of December, and also 6th and 7th of December. And he would be available if you like to meet him personally. He's a good-looking fellow, and you can ask him more questions when you have a chance to meet him in New York at our Underwriters Roadshow. Right? So thank you very much for your time. And the team here is very enthused, very enthusiastic about our technology. Right? And we certainly are reaching out to the region looking for like-minded partners for allogeneic approaches to cancer treatment. Thank you. Thank you.
This concludes today's conference call. You may now disconnect.